host, Jacqueline Job. Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Are you ready to be transformed? I'm here to uplift, encourage, motivate, and inspire. Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are having a great day thus far. Thank you for tuning in to Empowering Others to Excel. I am your host, your empowerment strategist, Jacqueline Jobs. I would like to say good morning to my WMEG listeners. Good morning to my Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube followers. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you all have had a great week. I hope you all held yourselves accountable this week. If y'all haven't been following on Facebook, I drop my accountability checks in at least once or twice a week just to make sure that you are holding yourself accountable and you are doing those things that you said that you were going to do, those things that you dropped off, that you left laying on the wayside. It's time for you to pick them back up. So check in weekly, once a week. It's a random day, y'all. It's not a set day. I hope I go in and do the accountability check. So you might want to check that out. So once again, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. If you have not followed and subscribed on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, please go ahead and do so. All right, now, last week, we talked about moving forward. Things are changing for the better, and are you ready for the new? That is what we discussed last week. Now, I'm going to say some key takeaways that we talked about last week before we jump into this week's topic because they kind of flow together. Because I stated before, every session builds upon the last one, or at least I try to have it build upon the last one. Sometimes we may deviate, but I try to have it build upon the last one. So, last week was moving forward, things are changing for the better, and are you ready for the new year? The key takeaways for the new you, what you are expecting of yourself. You have to think differently, respond differently, set boundaries, take responsibility, move with intention, and chooses growth over comfort. Those are the things that you have to identify with your new you. And then the things that you needed to release that we discussed last week. You have to release old habits, negative self talk, fear of failure, people pleasing, past versions of yourself, and excuses and limitations. Now, those were the key takeaways from last week. And then we ended with readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. Because the question that I left with you is, are you ready for the new year? So you have to decide, yes, I'm ready, or no, I'm not ready. You have to make that choice. You have to make that decision. Are you ready for the new you? Now, jumping into today's topic, moving with confidence in unfamiliar territory. Moving with confidence in unfamiliar territory. Now, for those who have decided that you are ready for the new you, this is for you. Moving with confidence in unfamiliar territory. Because when we move through unfamiliar territory, sometimes we lack that confidence that we need to see the change. But I am here to let you know that, yes, while you're going through, you may not feel confident, but you can still portray some confidence. You don't need to be familiar with the path of moving forward. You just need to be grounded in who you are, your identity, your self awareness. Be grounded in who you are and be willing to grow as you go. That is all you need. Be grounded in who you are and be willing to grow as you go. Grow as you go. I like that. I'm going to make that a slogan somewhere. Grow as you go. Everybody needs to grow as you go. Okay, let's talk about the first topic, When everything feels new. When everything feels new. So this, once again, you have decided you're going to accept the change. In the process of you accepting the change, you are embracing the new. You're embracing the new opportunities. You're embracing the new relationships. You're embracing the new environment. You're embracing the new culture. You're embracing the new climate, destination, wherever it is that you are, wherever it is that you went to. Whatever it is, you are embracing the new. So now we're talking about when everything feels new. New levels, new environment, new opportunities. They often come with unfamiliar territories. And while it can feel uncomfortable, growth will happen. Okay, so let's talk about this. When you're in the unfamiliar, how do you feel? How do you feel when you're in unfamiliar territory? Anxious? That's one. You feel anxious. How else do you feel? How else do you feel when you're in unfamiliar territory? Scared? Yes. Panic attacks? Okay. Nervous? Yep. Mm-hmm. We feel all of these things when we're in unfamiliar territory. Sometimes when we are in unfamiliar territory, it's like, should I be here? You feel like though you're in the wrong space. Like, should I be here? Did I take a wrong turn? Is this for me? Is this where I'm supposed to be? So when you're in unfamiliar territory, you start questioning a whole lot of things. And why is that? It's just because it feels unfamiliar to you. It is new. It is new. And just like when people buy a new house, what do they have to do? You buy a new house, you have to make it your home. And how do you make it your home? You make it your home with enhancements. You make it your home with enhancements. What does that mean? When you buy a new house, you're buying the furniture, you're creating the layout, all of those things, you're putting it together. You have your layout, you have your new furniture, you're buying the different appliances, you're buying the pots and the pans, you're doing the color coordinating, you're doing all of those, you're adding the enhancements. So now you're in this unfamiliar territory. So what do you have to do? You're going to add enhancement because why? You already are self-aware of yourself and you know what it is that you like and don't like. So now you have to incorporate those things in the new, in that unfamiliar space. Incorporate those things about yourself in that unfamiliar space. And then also be willing to grow. Be willing to grow because when people buy houses, especially if it's your first time buyer, half the time you don't know everything that comes along with buying a house. So you are learning as you grow. You're learning like, oh my goodness, especially if you have a house and you have a yard, your yard has to have maintenance. You can't just let the grass grow and never cut it. It has to have maintenance. If you have flowers, you have to tend to the garden. You have to pay those extra bills, the water bill, the utilities bill. You have to do all of those things. So now you have to get accustomed to all of those things. You have to become accustomed and used to all of those things. And that's the same thing with us when we are walking into unfamiliar territory. We have to get accustomed to those things. We may not be used to it, but guess what? This is what we wanted. This is what we desired. So now we have to get accustomed to them. So what are we going to do? We're going to go as we grow. I said I was going to throw that in there. Yes, I like that. I'm going to make it a slogan somewhere. I'm going to make a slogan, grow as you go. So when you're in that unfamiliar territory, you're going to have to learn to grow as you go. Now, when you're growing as you go, does that mean that you're going to accept everything that comes your way? No, no. Just like buying a house, you're not going to accept everything that comes your way. Meaning, if you happen to be paying your bill and you see, whoa, wait a minute, they tagged on $200 extra on this bill. Are we just going to pay that bill? No, we're not going to pay that bill. We're calling somebody like, hello, hi. I'm looking at my bill right here and I'm not understanding these charges. Can you please explain these charges to me? So as you're walking through that unfamiliar territory, you're not going to accept everything. If there's something that you don't understand, hi, I'm gonna need you. Can you explain this to me, please? I'm not understanding what is going on right here. Because why? We're growing as we go. And as you grow, there are going to be things that you like and dislike, and you're going to have to accept some things. You're going to have to submit to some things and some things you're not. You can say no to and move on. So just remember that as you're growing, as you're walking and you're moving into your purpose, there are going to be things that come your way that you are not sure about. So what are you going to do? You're going to check it out. You're going to research it. You're going to ask for explanations. You're not going to accept everything. So now my question I have for you, what new or unfamiliar situation are you currently navigating? What new and unfamiliar situation are you currently navigating? Let's think about that. It can be as far as job. It can be as far as relationship. It can be as far as finances. It can be as far as mental, emotional stability. You are navigating some new and unfamiliar situations. What currently are you navigating? You can share it if you want to in the chat, or you can just hold on to that thought. Now, why unfamiliar territory feels uncomfortable? Now, when we first jumped on, I said, how do you feel when you enter into unfamiliar territories? And we had anxious, nervous, somebody said panic attacks. You start questioning yourself, and that is reasonable. That is some things that we do, because unfamiliar spaces can trigger fear of failure, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, overthinking, fear of judgment. It can trigger all of those things. Why does it trigger that? Because of our past experiences. Past experiences, we can't predict the outcome, and you feel less in control. You feel less in control. And let's talk about that for a minute. You don't have past experiences to rely on. So now you're walking into this new. You're walking into this new position, this new place, whatever it is, you're walking into this new. And you do not have any background knowledge. You do not have any past experiences that is going to help you push you along. So now that leaves you standing there, lost and confused. That's person A. Or you can be person B. I'm going to research this thing, and I'm going to figure out what it is that I need to do. What person are you? Are you that person that when you enter into a new situation and you realize you don't have that past experience to back you up? Are you person A? You're lost and confused. You start doubting yourself. All the negative thoughts start flashing before your eyes. Or are you person B? I may not have the past experiences to back me up on this, but I do have people that I can go to that's going to help me with this. Or I'm going to research stuff. The internet is at your fingertips. Google it, ChatGPT it, and all the other fancy ones that's out there. It is at your fingertips. So when you get into that unfamiliar, uncomfortable space, you have resources that you can go to. So don't be person A that starts self-doubting. Don't be person A who starts thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to fail at this, because they don't have those past experiences to look back on. Be person B, I'm going to research this. I'm going to pull on my support system for this. I need to seek some wisdom and guidance on this. Because as you walk through this life, you're going to come into situations that you've never experienced before. You're going to come into situations where you've never experienced them. And then you're going to have to decide, what is it, fight or flight? Are you going to flee from that situation because you're uncomfortable? Or are you going to fight? Are you going to stand there, stick it out, do what you got to do to get through that situation? I need you to be the stand there, stick it out, do what you got to do to get through that situation. As long as it's on, if your values and your morals are not being compromised in the process. Good morning, Brianna. Good morning. So I need you to think about that. Then you can't predict the outcome. This is another reason why we have the fear of failure, self-doubt, because we cannot predict the outcome. And see, me, it's funny because I had this conversation with a group of friends, and we was talking about the different type of readers we are. And I said that I was a research reader. And then I research. If I have a question, I'm going to research. I'm not the type of person who's going to open a book and say, oh, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read this book today. I'm not the type of person. Even when I was younger, I could not get into it. I was that person who went to the back of the book, found out what happened at the end of the book, because I wanted to know what was going to happen at the end. Remember, when we're in our situations of the unfamiliar territory, we can't predict the outcome. See, me, I want to know what the outcome is before everything else happened when reading the book. What is the outcome? Especially if it's like a book that's entertaining, romance novel, whatever, tragedy, drama. I want to know the outcome. That's the same thing for movies nowadays. Jonte always like, oh my goodness, you just can't sit and watch. No, I want to know what's going to happen. Tell me what's going to happen. Then all right, I can go and watch it. That's me. I want to know the outcome before I sit and entertain this thing. What is the outcome? Or if you give me enough information about what's going on, I can kind of predict the outcome and I can kind of figure out where this is going to go. And I'm like, okay, this is entertainable. Let me go ahead and engage in this. And that is how it is with our life half the time. If we can predict the outcome, it's like, okay, yes, I will entertain this. I will do this because I can predict the outcome. But when we can't predict the outcome and we can't see it, it's like, wait a minute. No, this is not it. Like, this is not it. I'm not engaging. I'm not moving forward because I can't predict it. But we have to understand that sometimes when we're going into those unfamiliar territories, we're not going to be able to predict the outcome. But you have to trust and believe that what it is that you are moving towards is for your good. It is to better you. You have to trust and believe that. You have to step out on faith. You have to move, believing and trusting in everything that you have put forth, that what you desire is going to come. And see, that's one of those things for me too, because I have crazy faith. I will leap out in a minute. If it's something that I desire and I see in the very beginning, I can see it working out, but I don't know all the steps. But it's something that I truly desire and I believe that God has placed it on my heart. I'm going to be a type of person. I'm jumping. I don't know if the floor is going to be there when I land. I'm jumping. And then after I jump, then it's like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? That's me. But for me, it's crazy faith because I believe in the trust that God is going to take me where I need to go. And in the process through it all, I'm like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? But I'm also still putting in that work. I'm still doing what I need to do. But then I'm always coming back like, what was I thinking? I see progression. I see movement. I see growth. And then all of a sudden it's like, what was I thinking? Okay, but I'm still going. I'm still putting in the work. I'm still doing. And then eventually that light comes and it's like, oh, and you begin to see everything so clear. And you're like, oh, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. It was all worth it. And then you're so glad that you trusted yourself and you took that leap of faith. You're glad that you trusted God and you took that leap of faith and you did those things that you wanted to do, because in the end, you won. In the end, you won. So remember, we have to grow and go, grow and go. That's what we have to do. Even if we don't feel as though we're in control, guess what? Keep going, keep pursuing that thing that you desire. Now, here we go for a teaching point. Discomfort is a natural response to growth. Discomfort is a natural response to growth. It's not a signal to retreat. Natural response. Now I'm going to use clothing and wardrobe as an example. Discomfort is a natural response to growth. Why? Because when we grow, either as a child and we're growing, your mom, dad buys you some clothes. You put the clothes on. 1 minute you can fit the clothes. Next minute they all tight and you pulling and tugging, trying to make them fit right. And it's just like something's going on here. Your pants getting too short, your shirt getting too small, your belly button hanging out not on purpose, but it's hanging out, your sleeves and your neck and the collar's choking. Why? Because there was growth. And now the clothes are not comfortable on you. Discomfort is a natural response to growth. Okay? So we have to accept that. It is a natural response. And in the process, it is not a signal to retreat. So imagine a child growing, their clothes is getting too small. They can't say, okay, body, stop growing, shrink. You can't go back. You can't go back. Why? Because you're growing. So it is not a time for you to retreat. It's to understand this is what it is. I am growing. So now I know that I am growing. What am I going to do? I need to support my growth. I need to support my growth. That means I need to get those things that are going to help me in my growth. Okay, y'all following? So you got to get the things that are going to help you in your growth. Growth lives outside of what you already know. Growth lives outside of what you already know. So this right here, this statement is for those people who feel as though they know everything. If you feel as though you know everything, how can you grow? How can you grow? If you have an answer, a response to every single thing, how can you grow? I need you, if you are that person, I need you to stop, reflect for a minute. Because if you feel as though you know everything, there is no growth taking place, because that means you're not going to step outside of your comfort zone. You're not going to step outside that box and try to experience other things because you already know the answer. You already know the outcome. You already know the end result. So there is no growth taking place. Growth lives outside of what you already know. So you have to step outside of what you already know to experience growth. You have to step outside of what you already know, because a lot of people, they were like, okay, but I know how to do this. I know how to do that. Okay, but what is it that you don't know how to do in the process of you trying to become this new person? What is it that you need to work on? What is it that you need to grow? What areas do you need to focus on for your growth, for your maturity? What is it? And then you need to work on those areas. That is how growth happens. That is how growth happens. And in the process of that, you have to shift your mindset about the unknown. Shift your mindset about the unknown. Instead of seeking unfamiliar territory or seeing unfamiliar territory, I want you to see it as risky. You say, oh my goodness, this is risky. See it as an opportunity. So all of those risk takers out there, and you be like, oh my goodness, you be trying all this new stuff, because they're not afraid of it. They see it as an opportunity. They see it as an opportunity for change. They see it as an opportunity for growth. They see it as an opportunity. So they don't see it as, oh, I'm going to fail this. They don't have that fear of failure. No, they're taking this risk and they're going to make something good from it. They're seeing it as an opportunity, a learning experience. So once again, instead of seeing unfamiliar territory for something is intimidating, instead of saying it's intimidating, see it as it's stretching you. It is stretching you. So you're in this situation and you're feeling intimidated. No, this is stretching me. For example, if you're at a new position and you have to sit in front of board members, you have to sit and have a meeting and you are the presenter. You're uncomfortable. Everybody looking at you. It is intimidating. Why? Because your boss is there. The higher ups are there. The ones who are beneath you are there. And they're all listening to you. All eyes are on you. And now you're anxious. You're nervous. This is a stretching for you. If you prepared for that situation, you got this. It is just stretching you. It is preparing you for your future. It is preparing you for your next. So don't look at it as, oh, this is intimidating. No, it is stretching me. It is pulling those things out of me that are there, that are hidden. It is pulling on it. And it's making it come to the forefront. So you're standing up there in front of those people and you're looking like, oh my goodness. But yet you got all of this knowledge. You have this wealth of knowledge, but all you see is the people sitting in front of you. And now the stretching is happening. How is the stretching happening? Because now you got to open up your mouth. You got to open up your mouth and you got to speak on those things that you was about to present. So the more you start speaking, the confidence is building because you know what you're talking about. So that stretching is happening, that growing is happening. And as you're walking in it, the confidence is building. The people in the room are beginning to see like, oh, I understand. Like those who be like, I understand how she got that position, how he got that position. Oh, I see it now. I understand. I understand. So you are being refined in the process. Instead of seeing uncertainty, see it as developing. I am being developed. I am uncertain, I am being developed. And in the process of being developed, you are growing. And that process, what are you doing? You are seeking out those answers to those things that you don't understand. So however you choose to seek out those answers, that is what you are doing. So for your mindset shift, instead of you saying, I don't know what I'm doing, I am learning as I go. Didn't I just say grow as you go? What if I fail? No. What will I gain from trying? And then you have, I'm not ready. No, I will grow into readiness. What does that mean? I will grow into readiness. That means you're going to do it anyway. And in the process of you doing it, you're going to learn how to do it correctly. So you're basically stepping out there into the unknown, not sure. You're uncertain. But guess what? You stepped out there. You took that leap of faith. You did it. And now you're going to learn as you grow. Confidence is built through the experience, not before it. Not before, because you can say, I have confidence in this. But once you start doing it, you're like, oh my goodness, wait a minute. This is what I wasn't expecting this. So now you're getting a new set of confidence because you are learning a new experience. You're experiencing something different. So in that process of you experiencing something different, your confidence is growing. Your understanding is becoming better. Now let's talk about building confidence in the process. Confidence grows when you take action. Confidence grows when you take action. Movement reduces the fear. That means when you start stepping out and you start doing the little tasks, you're building confidence. Start with the smaller task. You start doing a little task. You start to understand. It's like, okay, I'm starting to get the hang of things. Your confidence is growing. Number 2, keep promises to yourself. Confidence grows when you keep promises to yourself. Small wins build trust. Small wins build trust. So that means this is building trust for you. So you set a task, make sure it's a small one to start with. You build on that. You're working on that task. You complete that task. Guess what? Now your confidence is growing. And then you also begin to trust that you can complete that task. I gained understanding that I didn't have before. So now if somebody else asks me to do this, guess what? I can do it confidently. Confidence grows when you focus on progress. You got to focus on progress. While you're going through, you have to focus on progress. We can always sit back and focus on all of the negative or all the reasons why it's going to fail, all the reasons why you shouldn't do that. We can go through and create a whole list and it will just satisfy us. But then you have to stop and think, but is this what I want? And then that list is going to start to fade away. No, I want the progress. And you have to remember that in the progress does not mean perfection. It just means that you're moving forward. Next one, confidence grows when you learn from mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are feedback, not failure. So learn from your mistakes. I'm trying to think of the right word. Like when you have an observation. I'm thinking back when I was a teacher and we had to have our quarterly observations. And then the principal would come in or whoever observed you and they would give you feedback. And so then you would have to go back and think about the feedback and you would have a conversation about what they said. And I need you to understand, but during that time when I'm giving you the feedback, everything is not a mistake. Everything wasn't negative. But in the process of that, you have to learn from what it is that they're saying. And then you have to put those things into action as to what they said can help you to improve. So learn from your mistakes. Next one is celebrate growth. Acknowledge how far you have come. Acknowledge how far you have come. You must celebrate your growth because if you don't celebrate your growth, it's not going to feel like you accomplished anything. So if it's as simple as a yay me, you need to do that. Celebrate your growth. Confidence is created. It is not given. It is created. It is not given. A lot of times people expect everything to be given to them. Nobody can give you confidence. No one can give you confidence. Confidence grows within you the more you do. The more you do, the more you grow. You're creating your confidence. Now, I was researching while I was doing this, and then right before the session started, I don't know why I started thinking about how a diamond was formed. I was thinking about how a diamond was formed. I'm going to read this really quickly. Natural diamonds are formed deep within the Earth's mantle, approximately 100 miles down, where extreme heat and immense pressure causes carbon to crystallize. Over billions of years, these diamonds are brought to the surface through deep volcanic eruptions and magma known as kimberlite. Now, lab grown diamonds are created in days or weeks. So now, I read that because I needed you to understand. Diamonds are considered what? One of the most precious gems. They're considered one of the most precious gems. And how were diamonds formed? The real ones, not the lab created one. How are they formed? They are formed under pressure. These diamonds are formed under pressure, immense pressure and immense heat, in order to form these diamonds that are worth money. So imagine you are being formed, you are being created into this new individual. You are seeking after those things that you would desire. In the process, guess what? You are starting to feel the heat. Why? Because you accepted that change. You are starting to feel that pressure. So you are being formed, you're being created under that pressure. You're being formed and created while you are going through that heat, that uncertainty. And you're starting to feel anxious because you don't understand what's going on. You are being formed and created. So I need you to understand this. And the process of you going through your process of becoming that individual that you desire to be, you're going to feel the pressure. You're going to feel the heat. You're going to feel it. But what happened to a diamond? After the pressure, after the heat, eventually that diamond was pushed up to the surface. And what are you being pushed up? All of those things that are within you that are being formed are coming to the surface. So they were internally in you being formed. Now they're going to come to the surface. So what does that mean? The people are going to begin to see it externally. They're going to begin to see it externally, because for a diamond is being formed underground. People can't see it. So they don't see the growth. And that's just like for anything that's being planted. Those roots are underground. You don't see the roots in the beginning. You don't see that. You see it after it pushes through and it comes out of the soil. So they don't see that beginning process. So right now you are being formed. You're being formed in the heat. You're getting the pressure. You are being formed. So I need you to not stray away from this. This is not a run. This is a no. This is accepted. You are being created into something new. You desire to be into something new. You decided to move forward. And this is what comes with moving forward. You desired that change. So now what's going to happen? As you walk into those unknown territories, those different situations that you're not familiar with, you're going to begin to feel the heat. You're going to begin to feel the pressure. But guess what? You are growing. You are growing in that time. So don't become scared. Don't become scared or fearful of what it is that you are feeling. You are growing. And internally, you are beginning to gain all of that information that you need. And you are receiving what it is that you need. And eventually, guess what? That final product is going to come to the light. And everybody's going to see it. And that is what you want. That is what you want. That is what you are working towards. So I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be motivated. That this is what I want. So I'm going to hold fast to this. I'm going to hold myself accountable. And I'm going to do what it is that I need to do. So now here are some strategies to break down this unknown, to navigate through the unknown. First one, break it down. Focus on the next steps, not the entire journey. Focus on the next steps, not the entire journey. Why? Because if we try to see the whole picture, we're going to get overwhelmed. And that's basically it. You're going to get overwhelmed. So just focus on the next step. What is the next thing I have to do? And you work on that. Complete that. Then, okay, what is the next thing I have to do? Work on that. Or if you're like me, for example, using the GPS. The GPS, they can talk to me and tell me, turn here. But I want to know what's the next steps, at least two ways down. So after I turn, what am I doing? I'm not waiting for you to tell me, okay, turn here, then do this. So no, I have it on the directions mode where I can actually look and read, and it says, okay, you're going to make this left here. That after you make this left in 3 miles, you're going to make this right here. And then after you do that, you're going to make this other right. So at least I have those 3 steps. So if you're like, I can't just do one thing, guess what? You can plan at least 3. You can plan at least 3. So that means you have the 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. So I need to accomplish this first, then match this task, then meet this task. But do not try to do the whole entire picture up front. It will overwhelm you. Number 2, stay present. I just said it. Don't overwhelm yourself with the what if. Stay present. Don't overwhelm yourself with the what if. Because we already know, but what if this? But what if this? I don't know. I don't understand. But what if we do that? Stay present. Stay in the here and now. Ask for help. Seek guidance when needed. Ask for help. And it's very sad to say that depending upon what type of job we have, asking for help has been meant to be bad. Like, you don't know this? Like, why are you here if you don't know this? Asking for help is a good thing. Why? It's because that means you're admitting, I don't know this and I'm willing to grow. Can you help me in this area? But depending upon what job we had or how we grew up, you asking for help said that you were weak. And if you have that mindset that asking for help means you're weak, I need you to, mindset has to be released now and today. Asking for help does not mean you are weak. It means that you're willing to grow. It means that you are not prideful. So I need you to be able to ask for help. Number 4, stay flexible. Be willing to adjust. Be willing to adjust. Everything is not going to go the way you want it to go, but you have to be willing to adjust to the situations. Number 5, protect your mindset. Limit negative input and comparisons. Limit negative input and comparisons. That means what? You're not going to have everybody speaking into your ear gate. You're not going to be listening to everything. You're not going to be watching everything. And when I say watching, this is watching as far as TV, social media. This is watching and observing other people, because sometimes we can get so caught up in observing other people and their lifestyle, how they do things, to the point that you start comparing yourself to that individual. And that is what we're not going to do. The negative input, those who are speaking into your ear gate, those things that you are listening to, make sure it is something that is empowering you. It is pouring into you. It's not something that you're going to sit and look at and then all of a sudden you feeling depressed about how your life is turning out. That is not what we want. And I need you to understand that you're not going to master everything. You're not going to master everything. You just need to continue to move forward. You need to continue to move forward. And when you move forward, you're moving forward with trust. And moving in unfamiliar territories requires you to have trust. You have to have trust in yourself, trust in the people around you, trust in that environment. If you do not have that trust, you're not going to be successful. Why? Because one, if you don't trust yourself, you're going to always be second guessing yourself. You're going to always self-doubt. And you're going to be doubting everything. If you don't have trust in the people around you, guess what? You're definitely not going to go ask for help because you don't trust them. So that means you're going to be like party of one. This is a one-man show. If I don't know it, I just don't have it. It's going to be what it is. And if you don't trust your environment, if you cannot trust the environment that you are in, that says something else totally different. Because the environment you are in should be comfortable enough for you to be able to flow in your creativity. And if you're not comfortable enough to flow in your creativity, flow in your gifting, then that environment needs to be changed. If you feel as though you have to continue to hide who you truly are in that environment needs to change, or you need to move out of that environment. You should not be in an environment where you are feeling stifled. Your creativity is being stifled. Who you are is being stifled. So just remember those things. Now, for a few faith reminders, you are not alone in the process. You are not alone in the process. So if you're trusting those around you, guess what? You're not alone. You are being guided even when you don't see it. You are being guided even when you don't see it. Sometimes we sit and we ask ourselves, like, how am I going to do this? And as you're sitting there thinking about how you're going to do this, you're starting to get the answers. Somebody might come and say something. You might be looking at something else and you get an answer. You're being guided even when you don't see it. Trust the process. This new season that you are in has purpose. This new season that you are in has purpose. Because sometimes people, we were like, why am I here? Like, what am I supposed to learn right now in the midst of this? It has a purpose. You just have to figure out what that purpose is. Because remember, you're identifying your why. What is your why? Why are you doing what it is that you are doing? And then while you're in the season that you are in, just see how does that season relate? Because I'm not sure if it was you all or was another group that I was talking to. And I said that I was in my winter season, meaning it was a very hard season. And it feels like everything that I was doing, nothing was happening. Like the work that I was putting in, I wasn't seeing the growth. But in the process of the winter season, you have to do the work and put in that work so that when the spring season comes, you will start to see it grow and you will still seeing it birth and come into light. So while I was in that winter season, I had to stop and I asked myself, like, why am I here? Because for me, everything was hard. It was hard. I'm like, why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here? And then I had to go back. What is it that you're trying to do? Hello? And it's just like that's how the voice talks to me. What is it that you're trying to do? You say that you wanted to do this, right? This is what you're working towards. So then why do you think you're here? And then you go back and you talk to yourself. You don't talk to yourself. Okay, I did. It's like, but this is hard. Okay, did you expect everything to be easy? Everything in your life is not going to come easy. You have to work through some things. You have to learn some new things. And why? Because the things that you are learning is going to help you for your future. Yes, this is the conversation that I'm having with myself, y'all. Because y'all trying to figure out what just happened. This is the conversation that I'll be having with myself. And then I might go back and be like, okay, but this is hard. And I feel as though I'm alone. Because guess what? Some seasons you have to walk through alone. You have to get through this thing alone. So that way, when this experience happens later on, you know what to do. And you can help somebody else through that same process. No, every season is not to be a season for you to bring on a whole lot of people alongside you. No, some seasons are there for you. Why? Because when they say try it in the fire, it is for you. This is either your season where you're going to say, I want this, and I'm going to take all that comes with it. Because this is what I want. It's just a season to see if you're going to go for it, even though it's hard, even though it hurts, even though you don't know what in the world going on. Are you willing to go for it? Because if you are willing to go for it, even through all of the confusion, chaos, turmoil, whatever it is, guess what? Whatever it is that you are desiring, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And when I say that, I mean because you were willing to put in that work, even though you were going through this hard season. You were willing to fight for what it is that you wanted. So now, guess what? When it comes, it's coming. And it's going to be amazing. So that is the things that you have to understand. You have to talk to yourself. You have to pour into yourself just like that. And if you don't have those kind of conversations, have those kind of conversations because they help you out. They help you out. Next, and encouraging. Trust the timing. Trust the timing. Your timing is not God's timing. Trust the timing. Trust the process. You have to trust the process. You have to go through. You have to go through. So trust the process and trust the growth. Trust the growth. Trust the growth. Because when you're going through and you're growing and you're trusting the timing, the process and the growth, it'll all come into alignment. And it'll all line up. And then eventually you'll see it and be like, oh my goodness, really? That's what it was. But then you're looking like, well, why couldn't you tell me? No, because you wouldn't have kept going. But you need to be able to trust the timing, trust the process, trust the growth. Good morning, Miss Diane. Good morning, Miss Diane. Glad to see you on today. Now, here's a question I have for you. What would you do differently if you fully trusted the journey? What would you do differently if you fully trusted the journey? Because we are human. We know we're human. We're going to go through things and be like, you know what? This is just not it. This is just not it. I just had a conversation with my husband. It was this week, matter of fact. And I said, I think I'm delusional sometimes. And I was like, I really do. I said, because I see things and I'm like, yes. And when I see things on a grand scale. And I can't explain to people. Because I explain to people, they look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, I want this. And they be like, but you have nothing to get this. You cannot obtain this. You have never experienced this before, but this is what you want. And this is what you're trying. Like, make it make sense. That's how they looking at me. That's what they saying. Make it make sense. And I'm like, no. Like, this is what I want. And I can see it. So I start going through and I'm trying to get it and I'm building and I'm creating and I'm doing all of the things. And then in the process, it's like you hit so many walls and it's like, oh my goodness. And then you're down 1 minute, you up the next minute, you motivated 1 minute, then you confused and you depressed the next minute and you just keep going. And I just had this conversation with him. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm delusional. But then yet on top of, and he reminded me, he said, yes, but that's your crazy faith. That's your crazy faith. And I already said, I have crazy faith. I believe I can move mountains. I have crazy faith. All right. So that's what it is. And the thing about it is, I'm still going through this process. I'm still putting in the work. And guess what? I might think, oh, I'm delusional, but guess what? Everything is working out. Everything is working out as it should be. It is working out. Even though I hit the wall for some things, was confused for some things, didn't know some things, had to learn a lot of things. And hopefully within the next maybe 2 months, I can share everything that I'm really talking about with y'all. But I mean, it's growing and it's happening. And I'm just like, oh, Lord, like this was hard. It was hard, but guess what? All of that work, that hard work was not in vain. All of that hard work was not in vain because things are coming to the light now. Things are being manifested. And I'm just like, oh, Lord, it was not in vain. Thank you, Lord. So that is what I need you to understand. That is what I need you to understand. When you are desiring and becoming that person that you want, and you have created goals for yourself, and you have a plan for your things that you want, and you're trying to work it through, do not be afraid of that unfamiliar territory. Do not be afraid of the unknown. Why? Because we are growing as we go. We are growing as we go. We're not going to have the answers to everything. We never will. We never will. And then you might go to 5 different people and ask them a question and hoping that they give you the answer or the response that you want, and they don't. We're not going to have the answer to everything, but we're growing as we go. We're going to make mistakes, but guess what? We're going to keep going. Why? Because we're growing as we go. And I need you to understand that. So once again, you need to trust the timing. Trust the timing, trust the process, trust the growth. You have to do all 3. Do all 3. Trust the timing, trust the process, trust the growth. Because a lot of times the timing is the part that trips us up. I know it does for me because I like to set timelines for myself. But the thing about it is sometimes those timelines you set for yourself are not realistic timelines. They're not realistic timelines. And then if they are realistic timelines, you have incidents that happen in the process that slows the timeline down. But now, since you're not going at that pace that you so desire, you feel as though you have failed in the process. And that is not the case. That just means you have to figure out another way, figure out another avenue, figure out another direction to get it to what it is that you want. So I need you to trust the timing, trust the process, and trust the growth. And then also, while you're doing this, I want you to walk boldly into the unknown. Walk boldly into the unknown. Walk with your head held high. And you're like, but I don't know what I'm doing. Guess what? Half of us don't. Half of us don't. You think those CEOs and them billionaires, sometimes they going into these meetings, they don't know. They just hoping that when they get in there, they will get their idea or that right word will come and the people will agree with them. So I want you to walk boldly into that unknown. Walk in there with confidence. Walk in there knowing you might not have all of the answers, but you do have some. And what it is that you do need, you have the different resources that you can go to find the answers. So once again, like I said, we don't know everything. We don't know everything. And you have to be able to be one of those people to admit, I don't have all the answers. Because if you walking around, I got all the answers. I got all the answers. You can kind of, I know everything. There is no room for growth. We don't know all of the answers. We're going and we're growing as we go. So while you're walking in confidence, does that mean that you know everything? Nope. You're just confident in what you do know. You're confident in what you do know. Whatever your gifting is, whatever your creativity is, whatever your niche is, whatever it is, you're confident in that thing. And that is what is going to lead you on. That is what is going to open those doors for you. That is where the opportunities are going to come in. Those relationships are going to grow. And the things that you are confident in. Everything else you're going to learn as you go. You're going to learn as you go. So once again, it's like, hi, I'm Jacqueline. How are you? Get that introduction. You start walking into that unknown territory. You're confident in what you do know. So those things about you, your self-awareness, you're confident in that. Whatever your giftings is, you're confident in that. But you might walk into this room and might not know what in the world is going on in this room, but you do have some things that you're confident in that, and you lead with that. So I want you all to walk boldly into the unknown. You may not recognize the territory, but it doesn't mean you don't belong there. You may not recognize the territory, but it doesn't mean you do not belong there. Be confident. All right, so I want to leave you all with your final declaration for today. Here is your declaration. I am capable. I am growing. I will move forward with confidence, even in unfamiliar spaces. I trust myself and I trust the process. I'm going to say it again. I am capable. I am growing. I will move forward with confidence, even in unfamiliar spaces. I trust myself and I trust the process. Remember, we are what? Growing as we go. We're growing as we go. And the last thing I said, I really liked. You may not recognize the territory, but it doesn't mean you don't belong there. Because a lot of times we get into spaces and it's just like, I don't belong here because it's unfamiliar. Just because it's unfamiliar doesn't mean you don't belong there. You might be that one thing that is needed to make that whole situation change for the better. So just don't think of it as because you don't recognize the territory, you don't belong there. You belong there. And you're bringing the change and everything else when you come into that space. So be confident and remember, you are growing as you go. I thank you all for tuning in today with me and on empowering others to excel. I hope that you all receive something that is going to motivate, encourage, uplift you for the rest of this week. And while you're doing whatever it is and you're growing as you go, remember to hold yourself accountable. Remember to hold yourself accountable. Those goals that you have set for yourself, those tasks that you have set for yourself, remember to do them. Work on them little by little by little. Pick one task, work on that one task, accomplish that task, and then move on to the next. Hold yourself accountable. Get some people who are going to hold you accountable as well. So once again, I thank you for tuning in to empowering others to excel. I want to thank my WMEG listeners who hang in there with me every single Saturday from 9 to 10. Thank you, WMEG listeners. I want to thank those who are following and listening on Facebook, social media. I said Facebook and social media, it's the same thing. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those who are tuning in. So what I want you all to do, if you want to be able to sponsor WMG. I'm just excited about the being ending is. If you want to be able to help empowering others to excel, to grow, you can do so by sending a monetary gift through Cash App to EOE Change Agent. EOE Change Agent. But now I just want to tell you all, I want you all to have a great week. Grow as you go. Grow as you go. You do not know everything. Grow as you go, everybody. Remember that. Thank you all for tuning in. Next is coming up on WMEG is the pros and cons of human nature with Nikki. So those are my WMEG listeners. Do not tune out. Stay in. Nikki is coming up with the pros and cons of human nature. Everybody else, I want you all to be blessed.
Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Are you ready?